It's low fat, heart healthy, today on Let's Cook. Hi, welcome to Let's Cook today, where we are talking low fat, heart healthy. Now, a lot of people are very concerned about fat in their diet and they want to eat very healthy. So today we're actually doing pork, but it's going to be low fat, and we have citrus going with it, and that citrus is very heart healthy for us. We're also doing a mushroom ravioli with a roasted vegetable sauce or roasted vegetable stock. I have my vegetables right here, and what I did is I took these vegetables and I just roasted them in the oven, and they're also going to be part of the dish. I have them right here on the tray here. You just want to roast them till they get a little bit golden brown color, and we're flavoring this with a little bit of star anise and peppercorns, bay leaf, and garlic. This is what star anise looks like. Can we get a shot on this, Norm? See how this star anise, see how beautiful this is, and it's a little pods in there, and it gives it a wonderful, delicious licorice flavor. So I'm going to put a piece of star anise in there, and then I'm just going to take my vegetables that I already roasted right here. So we have the onions, we have the squash, we have the leeks, we have the parsnips, we have the carrots, we have the celery, and this will be enough for what I'm doing right now. And I'm just going to take this, put this on a nice high heat, and add some water to this. And this is going to cook while we make the raviolis. And the vegetables are already roasted, so it really won't take that long for the vegetables to pick up that flavor. Next, we have to make our filling for our mushroom ravioli. To make the filling for the mushroom ravioli, I'm using an assortment of mushrooms here. So I have some shiitakes here, I have some cremini, I have some common mushrooms that I'm going to use. Any mushroom will work, and all we're going to do with this is we're just going to puree these. Now, mushrooms contain about 90% water, and because they contain so much water, we have to squeeze that out or cook that out. You have another option open to you, though. And the other, we're just going to pulse this a little bit at a time. We don't want to get them too small. One option that's open to you is you can take mushrooms like this. Now, these are dehydrated mushrooms that I have right here. And they're the same mushrooms that I'm actually using in my mushroom filling. And what you can do is you can add that to that. They're going to absorb that 90% water that's found in mushrooms. Or, if you don't want to do that, what you can also do is you can just take your mushroom mix like this. You can put it into a strainer, and then take those mushrooms and just squeeze them out. And you can see even here, this little bit of mushroom that I have right here, if I take this and I squeeze this with my hand, you're going to see a lot of moisture come out of these mushrooms. A lot of water comes out. You need to get the water out of the mushrooms because otherwise you're going to end up having to cook the mushrooms too long to get the water out, and if you do that, then you're going to lose that texture that's so good in mushrooms. So we just take our chopped mushrooms right here, right into the saute pan. I'll get the rest of them out here too. All of these mushrooms right in here. I'm going to heat these up. Now to these, I'm just going to add for flavoring here just a little bit of safflower oil. It's very good oil to cook with. In addition to that, I'm adding some mushroom powder here. Those are the mushrooms that I just put in a coffee grinder, and I just put those in. A little bit of whole wheat breadcrumb there. What we do is we saute this up just to cook these mushrooms. A little bit of salt as well. Just cook them off just a little bit. Once they're cooked off and they've all changed color, we take the mushrooms that and I can do this right here, right now for you. We would take our mushrooms right here. Just shut the stove off. Take our mushrooms right here. Along with our mushrooms, low fat, ricotta cheese or ricotta, a little bit of Parmesan cheese here, Romano cheese, and we mix this together. All we have to do is mix that together, and you're going to mix that very thoroughly, and you need to let that cool down. Once it's cooled down, this is what it looks like right here. I already have some made right here. So you see how nice this looks, see how fine this is, see how it's changed color? That's my filling. Now, to make my raviolis, I have some pasta sheets right here. Now these are cooked pasta sheets that I bought in the store. It's lasagna sheets, it's already cooked. It's a beautiful thing. We're just going to take these, I'm going to cut this down this way. Then I'm going to cut them in four this way. I'm going to put them on top this way. I'm going to get 4 raviolis out of this. I want a unique shape to my raviolis today, so I'm going to take these. I'm just going to cut a circle out of these. Get rid of that circle right here. Then I'll take and I'll cut a half moon this way. So I end up having not somewhat of an oval shape like this. You see that beautiful oval shape? Now to make my raviolis, I'll take one in my hand like this. Then I'm just going to take a little bit of my cooled down mushroom mix right here, and I'll put it in the middle here. Make sure that you just have enough in here to cover the middle of the ravioli. You don't want too much in there. Now, since this pasta is already cooked, we're going to take a little bit of flour and water here, just a little bit here, and we put it on the edge right here. Just on the edge, a little bit of flour and water. Then we'll take our top right here, we put it in place, start at the bottom here, and we just crimp this, making sure there's no airspace in this at all. If some comes out, that's fine. Crimp this real good, making sure it's totally sealed. Again, get rid of any of that excess mushroom mix. Really crimp these really well. Good. Now, you can make these a day ahead. I already have some made right here, and I'm going to go ahead and take these and drop these in water. Remember, the pasta is cooked, so is my mushroom mix. So I'm just going to drop these in some boiling water I have right here. Doesn't this look great? Oh, beautiful. Once these rise to the top, they're actually done cooking, and these are only going to take about 1.5 minutes. So let me just make sure I maintain the boil on those. Let's go over to our roasted vegetable sauce now. You'll notice here that my liquid has cooked down quite a bit. To this now, I'm just going to add a little bit of tomato. Just a little bit, just for body, for balance of flavor and color. Beautiful. Now we're almost ready to plate this. To plate this now, and again, this is low fat, you'll notice only a little bit of safflower oil in the duxelle stuffing itself. So this is good to go. My raviolis now are rising to the top here. Take these, drain these well. Immediately we'll put these in a bowl right here. Oh, these are so good. And again, remember the pasta was cooked. If you're not using cooked pasta sheets or you're making raw pasta, you would have to cook them just a little longer. So we have our raviolis right here, and now we have our roasted vegetable stock or sauce right here. We'll just take this, put this right around our raviolis here. So you have a wonderful flavor and texture there with the mushrooms. And by the way, mushrooms don't necessarily contain a lot of protein, but what they do contain is they do contain certain food compounds that are very good as far as anti-cancer, are very good for our gastrointestinal area. Here we have our mushroom raviolis here with our roasted vegetable sauce. We're going to take a little break, and then when we come back, we have more low-fat, heart-healthy today on Let's Cook. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome to Let's Cook. You know, the next item we're making, it's a brown rice or basmati rice. You could use either. I like brown rice because it has insoluble fiber on the rice. It's a lot healthier for us. But I'm looking at the inside of this leek. Can we just get a shot on this? Because it's such a beautiful thing, the inside of this leek here, and all the different layers of the leek in there. I don't think anybody, I think definitely a higher power had to plan this leek to have such a beautiful vegetable. But all we're going to do with this leek here is we're just going to cut it in nice thin rings. And what I did is I made sure that there was no sand or dirt inside the leek at all. And this way, when we cook the brown rice, we're going to have these nice little rings of green and white in there. Now, we're not using any fat with this, so what I'm going to do is I've heated my pan here up just a little bit. The vegetable stock, some of that roast vegetable stock, I'm just going to put in maybe about 1/4 cup right now. And to this now, I'm just going to put my leeks in here, just to partially cook them, almost like I'm sauteing them, but I'm really not sauteing because I have no fat in there. But we're just going to put our leeks right in there. Then, to speed it up, we're going to cover them. Now, I have my brown rice right here, and what I've done with the brown rice is I've washed it. I always wash my rice. I'm just going to take and pour that water off of them. Do that 2 or 3 times. As a matter of fact, excuse me, add a little bit more water to this, nice cold water, and I'll wash this. We just pour that off. Beautiful brown rice. And when you make brown rice, as opposed to white rice, you need to use a good flavorful stock, and it has to cook a little while longer. And instead of a 2-to-1 ratio, you would use about a 2.5-to-1 ratio. So let's go ahead and take a look at our leeks right here. See how nice they look? Beautiful, great color. To this now, I simply add my rice. I'll add my stock now. This is also when you would take just a little bit of salt so the salt can penetrate the flavor of the rice. Just a little salt in there. We're going to cover this brown rice now. Turn our heat down so it's barely simmering. It's going to simmer for about 35 to 40 minutes. So by the end of the show, this will definitely be done. We're going to take a little break, and then when we come back, we have another low-fat, even though it's with pork, heart healthy item today on Let's Cook. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome to Let's Cook, where we are talking about heart healthy, low-fat cooking. Now, the next item we're making today, we're actually making pork cutlets. So I have 4 pork cutlets here, and then I have some different citrus. I have some lemon, some red grapefruit, some orange. We have cilantro. I have apricot nectar. I'm using a little bit of honey, and I'm also using jicama and parsley to make this. Now, pork. The pork itself that I'm using, you'll notice when I took the pork here, I took all the fat, any of the fat on the exterior of the pork that I could remove. I took that off. We need to get rid of that excess fat on the pork cutlet. Now we're going to season this with salt and pepper, and we're actually going to saute this. When you season foods, don't be afraid to season it with good salt on both sides and pepper. Now, the pepper, you can use a grinder like I do. But you can also just use, you can grind up pepper and you can have it ground and do it once a week if you don't want to deal with a pepper mill. But make sure that you do it on both sides. Also, you want to use sea salt or kosher salt for your seasoning because it's the least processed of any of the salts, and it has a much nicer flavor. It really does. Now, see, low-fat, heart-healthy cooking, right? So we take, I'm just going to move my pan. If I were to take my pan and I could spray it with this, right? Now I'm going to spray this in my pan, but I want you to notice something in the bottom of the pan. Can we just show the pan? I don't have any fat there to conduct my heat. So I could use a non-stick pan, but I'm going to show you a way to get rid of some of that excess fat before you make the salsa and still have enough fat to conduct the heat to properly cook the pork. So, I'm going to put a little bit more oil in here. Using olive oil, of course, because, why, that's healthier, much better for us. Now we'll just take our cutlets right here. Going to drop them in and let them start to cook. Now, somebody out there has got to be saying, well, what's he going to do with that fat? I'm going to show you exactly what I'm going to do with that fat before I'm done. But I'm not really a proponent of the non-stick pans. I'm really not, but that's me. Maybe it's because it's old world. So I prefer to cook, then get rid of that excess fat, which is what I'm going to try and do. And I know somebody out there is going to say, well, Paul, you're really not getting rid of that fat. I think remember, everything in moderation. You know what the great thing is about citrus while I'm talking about the ingredients for this? The citrus, the antioxidants are very good at reducing cholesterol in our systems. So citrus fruits have that. So when you're cooking with anything, eating that citrus contains antioxidants. The antioxidants are very good for you because they do help reduce and fight cholesterol. So we just took our jicama here. This is what the jicama looks like. We took the jicama, we peeled it, and we're just going to take this and dice it into very small dice. This doesn't cook. We really want to maintain the integrity of our jicama here. So I have my jicama right here. Let's take a look at our pork cutlets now. Also, they're breeding pork now so that it contains a lot less saturated fat. The pork is one of the only meats that can actually spoil from the inside out. And that was because of the amount of saturated fats that were in the pork, but now they're breeding the pork to contain less saturated fats, and it's a good meat. And you can eat fish 5 days a week, but according to the American Heart Association, you really only need to eat it 2 days a week. So let's change it up a little bit. Now see what I've done with my pork here? Beautiful. just searing the pork on both sides. Then I'm actually going to finish cooking it in the oven. So it's just searing it, getting a little color and flavor on the surface of the pork, so then I can put it into the oven. So now I'm going to remove my pork here. I'm going to get this into the oven and allow this to finish cooking. Again, no fat here, right? Just nice dry heat. So we're going to pop those in the oven, let those continue to cook. Now, I told you that I was going to show you how to get rid of the excess fat. See here in the bottom of the pan here? We have a couple of things going on. One, we have that fat. Now, if we're making a salsa or anything else, or a sauce, we need to get rid of that fat. We also have pork flavor in the bottom of the pan there, but only a little bit because we barely sauteed the pork and seared it. This is when we would take, pour off that fat that you put into the pan. See how I poured that off here? Got rid of that excess fat. Then I would take a towel, not on the bottom of the pan because that's where a lot of my flavor is, but just on the sides here, I would wipe out that excess fat as well. Now, in goes my jicama. Now the jicama, we're going to actually allow this to pick up a little bit of flavor in the bottom of the pan. So I'm going to let that saute. And while I'm doing that, I think I have time to show you how to properly section an orange. Take the orange. We remove both tops here. With my knife, I'm just going to go around this way, following the natural curvature of the orange, to remove all of the rind and pith. And by the way, you can save this rind and pith and you can make orange marmalade out of it. It's very good. Just make sure you use a good sugar when you're doing that. Now, to section the orange, come right over your pan right here. Cut this down, let that fall away. This, and you just work your way all the way around the orange this way. Don't worry about the juice because you're not going to waste this juice either. Oh, that's the other thing I was reading. When we're talking about heart healthy, you know, where we might give our children juice because they're not eating the whole fruit, it's very important that you eat the whole fruit as well to get the full benefits of the fruit that you're eating, not just the juice. So we'll just get our sections right in there. Good. Now, with what I have left here, which is the middle of the pieces without the section, squeeze that juice in there too. You don't want to waste any of that. So we squeeze that juice in there. Next, I'm going to add my lemon, grapefruit, and orange sections, my remaining orange sections. Again, remember, citrus fruits contains antioxidants that are very healthy in removing cholesterol. A little bit of apricot nectar here. Uh-oh. Then, just a little bit of honey. Not too much honey, just a little bit, just kind of offset it. I'm using a bittersweet honey there, just a little bit of honey. We actually have to wait for our pork to cook now. It's going to take about 4 minutes in the oven. This is actually done except for the addition of the herbs. We're going to take a little break, let our pork cook, and then when we come back, we're going to put together this delicious pan-seared or sauteed pork with the citrus salsa. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back. We have our salsa here. Now, to the salsa now, I'm just going to add some parsley and some cilantro leaves right in here, and we're just going to let them wilt, let that flavor come out. Now, let's take a look at our pork. Remember, we're talking low fat here, so right here, I have the pork. It's coming out of the oven. I cooked it on this plate, and this way, I can take the pork and I can remove it from any fat that might be served with it. So I would even take it before I served it if I wanted very low fat, even put it on a paper towel to absorb any of that fat before I served it. Have our brown rice here. This is our brown rice with the leeks. This is all done now. It's beautiful. It doesn't stick together as much as regular rice. So to plate this now, I'm just going to take my rice right here, put a little bit of rice here. Then we'll take our pork cutlets right here, set them up so they're coming right off the rice. You could even slice these if you wanted. Don't these look good? Again, we're leaving all the fat, any excess fat in the pan that we cooked it in, right here. All that excess fat is in that pan. And then we take our salsa, beautiful. Just take our salsa, run it right down here. All that beautiful flavor. And remember how good that citrus is. It's so full of antioxidants. Also, the jicama itself it's loaded in vitamin C, it's loaded in potassium. It's kind of a, I have about 30 seconds here. This jicama right here that I used, it has a radish texture to it, has a nice sweetness, doesn't have the heat. You can almost taste a little apple in it too. Jicama is good for you, especially if you want to be heart healthy. Thank you for watching Let's Cook Today. We'll see you next time. And remember, eat healthy, keep that heart going. Bye-bye for now.